Good morning, one and all. I'm Dr. Abirami from Department of BCom Corporate Secretaryship. The topic for today is electronic data interchange and supply chain management. This is a part of e-commerce, and this topic is one of the most important topic in e-commerce. So let's talk about electronic data interchange and supply chain management. The content of today's session will be defining EDI, what are the characteristic features of EDI, benefits of EDI, and also the barriers to its implementation. Many companies hesitate to bring in EDI, so we will know why this hesitation takes place. And we will also describe how EDI works in businesses and how it works through LAN as well as through internet. Then we'll also talk about the contrast and the commonalities of ANSI's EDI with Internet EDI. And finally, we'll talk about internet improvements that has helped the companies to have better supply chain management. So the topics that we are going to cover today are with the examples of the companies. Let's take the manufacturing company for example, and then we'll be discussing the benefits, direct process and direct and process. We'll be talking about the advantages and disadvantages of WAN and the implementation models, EDI implementation models that are very successful. So let's start with EDI, electronic data interchange. So business processes can become more efficient, customer suppliers relationship will enhance, and this leads to EDI leads to more trust and collaboration, and the market structure changes for good. The definition of EDI is as follows: the direct computer to computer transfer of business information between two businesses that uses a standard format, focuses on trade data interchange, often use WAN, value added network, and use of standards. EDI standards. Company speaks precisely the same language, same code in same place. Proprietary codes are used in a standardized format. Different computers can communicate with one another in the same language. For example, in a manufacturing company, there may be very many suppliers. So all these suppliers are connected through this EDI standards. So EDI standards tell the suppliers whenever there is utilization of raw materials. The raw materials may be procured from various companies. So one company in Ananagar, one company in Adyar, and one company in Hyderabad, one other company in Karnataka. So different states and different cities and different locations. But the LAN is informing them how things are going on. Whenever there is a decrease in the raw material, they come to know about it and they start supplying the required raw materials without even a waste of a single second. So EDI standards were started in 1968. The Transportation Data Coordination Committee worked on EDI, and they charged with exploring ways to reduce the paperwork. Because the paperwork were many, American National Standard Institute ANSI, coordinating body for standards in United States since 1918, was working with EDI, and 1968 this EDI got a shape. Accredited Standard Committee X12 ASC X12, chartered by ANSI in developing EDI standards, was complete in the year 1979. So let's talk about the types of EDI benefit: direct and process. So direct is from business to business, and processes requires a lot of re-engineering, can only be realized with all trading partners or on EDI, and can revolutionize the way businesses are done. What are the barriers in adopting to EDI? Many companies are hesitating to have EDI even with so many benefits. So what is the reason? trading partners they do not know the benefits of EDI, and the hardware cost is a bit high. Interfacing translators and software cost is also a bit more. The need for software modification is the most important thing which people hesitate to do. Businesses do not want to change their softwares, and they want to stick to one thing. So that's where there is a lot of hesitation. So the network service charges, cost, and efforts for trading partners and conversion are the key points which should be thought about. So if companies start working together on understanding, if the clients, if their suppliers, if their creditors, and everybody, if they understand EDI, and if they start adding components, EDI will be one of the successful models in the forthcoming generations. And all the businesses that are using EDI, they have faced a lot of financial commitment, but their returns are very high. There is no delay in their production process, which is really adding a lot of profit to organization. So EDI brings in huge amount of profit in long run. Let's talk about the trading partners concern in EDI implementation. So if you can see the diagram, you can see there are just 4 components that make people understand EDI in a better way. Of course, yes, benefits are more, cost is little high, trust is high, and dependency on this EDI platform is really high. So these, if you see, the advantages are very many when looking at the cost. So people should not think more about the cost, but in turn they should start utilizing EDI, and they should incorporate EDI in their business transactions. So value added network. Trading partners can implement the EDI network and EDI translation process in several ways, each using one of the basic approaches. So either they can use direct connection or they can go for indirect connection. So the next thing that we are going to discuss today is direct connection between trading partners. So how does that work? Direct connection requires each business in the network to operate its own on-site EDI translator computer. EDI translator computers are connected to each other using modems or dedicated leased lines. So these leased lines are a bit expensive. Next, the trading partners using different protocols can make different connection options difficult to implementation. Let's talk about indirect connection between trading partners. So what we saw in the previous was direct connection. Now we are going to see how we are going to use indirect connection between trading partners to decrease cost. So companies can use the service of value added network WAN. The WAN provides communication equipments, softwares, and skills needed to receive and store communication and also forward electronic messages containing EDI transaction set. So that's the most important thing which we should be considering. So the WAN is the one that provides communication equipments, and it is also making the communication a bit faster. So the WAN often supplies the softwares that are required to connect to its services. So this is the difference between direct and indirect connections between trading partners. Now let's talk about the advantages of using value added network, VAN. So users support only one communication protocol, which is very familiar to them. The WAN records activity in an audit log, providing an independent record of transactions. The WAN can provide translation between different transaction sets. The WAN can perform automatic compliance checks to ensure the transaction set is in the specified EDI format. Disadvantages of using WAN. value added network. Most vans require an enrollment fee, a monthly maintenance fee, and a transaction cost. Vans can be cumbersome and expensive for companies with trading partners using different vans. Intervan transfers do not always provide a clear audit trail. So let's talk about EDI on the internet. Viewed EDI on the internet is viewed as a replacement for expensive leased lines and dial-up connections. Small companies can get back in the game of selling to large customers the demanded EDI capabilities of their suppliers. Concerns about security and lack of audit log continues to be a major roadblock. Take advantage of open architecture and use EDI on internet to enhance business transactions, and also thereby that leads to profit. Now let's compare the EDI standards. We are going to compare the ASC ANSI EDI standards with internet standards. So we have security provided by private networks, and internet standards, they have secure socket layers. And EFT, which is electronic fund transmission, takes place with the help of standard for wire payment between clients and vendors, whereas in internet standard SET, secure electronic transactions with the help of protocol proposed by Visa MC4Net. Then the last one is transaction sets up to 108 invoices to 850 invoices, whereas here no transaction standards or limit is set. The next one that we are going to discuss is current internet EDI usage. Much EDI traffic carried over private networks, scalability, reliability, and processing power. In 1996, EDI did a research study. 85% of the respondents using some form of EDI were very successful. Only 3 to 4% were using internet EDI, and 85% were using EDI, which is the standard EDI, and they are also found to be very successful in their business. The last thing that we would like to discuss for today's session is FEDI, Financial EDI. A trading partner's bank is called FEDI, that is Financial Electronic Data Interchange. Many trading partners are very much reluctant to send FEDI transfers because large sums of money over the internet is quite risky. But companies may opt to establish an indirect connection through a WAN for added security for FEDI transactions, which will help them to enhance their business transactions, and it will be a very complete business solution because the vendors are connected, the business is connected, and when the vendors are sending the supplies, their accounts, bank accounts, have to be filled with their money, right? So this is like a wholesome EDI process. Thank you.